Hello everybody, I hope you're having a good time. As I promised yesterday, I wanted to show you a demo of what I have done so far with Qing Data, and I want to tell you that what you are seeing here now is on my computer, but it would not be difficult to also put it online in a few days where you can also see that and try things yourself. So this would be something that we can probably think of as, let's say, the next Seshat website, where we can basically have a more modern website that will replace the wiki and also some other parts of the Seshat database. And of course these things will be discussed later, but what I want to show you is that we can click here on the Qing Data and we can go to Qing Crisis and see what we have so far. And these are the variables that I have already cleaned and I have put in the database. And as you can see, we have like different let's say variables here, and for each variable you can either view what we have already or add to the database. Let's say if you want to just view the database for land yield, we can see pretty neatly what we have in the database so far. And at the same time we can also have the, let's say, polity pages, where if we click on each of these pages, we can be directed to the polity pages that will potentially replace the wiki pages that we have now for polities. And as you can see here, we also have the option to have graphs. I think the Qing L in this case has a nicer graph, so we can have like simple graphs here. And of course through time I can also learn more and I can make these graphs more beautiful. But in general, what I want to say is that we can basically read the data dynamically from the database and put it also on polity pages that can be connected to variables that we have. And as you can see, not only we can have graphs, but of course we can also have textual values that can also be read from the database. And that's exactly where we can think of replacing the wiki pages, where we can read data from database and populate these pages. Another thing that I want to show you here is that we also, if you see here, we don't have a reference column, but what I did is that for each fact I have put like a tag here where we can basically have the references, where if we click on that, and then here we can click on any of those, and these are actually not valid references, because for most of the data that I have put in, I don't really have good reference information. And I think I will prepare a file where I can ask either Georg or you guys to give me information about the references, and then I can update the references here. But in any case, the way that we can see references would be to have like one or multiple references here, where we can also click on each of them and they can take us to the Zotero link for that particular article based on the data that we have already filled in. And yeah, if we have like, let's say, one reference, then it will be like this, and if we have multiple references, it will show up as this. And there are some issues, as you could see, like when you click on something and the other thing doesn't disappear. These are the things that I will fix in a couple of days or maybe a couple of weeks. But as I discussed yesterday, the most important thing is that now everything works pretty neatly. For example, for those pages where we have a larger number of data, then we can still see that the pagination works properly. So first of all, we can potentially have references for each of the facts. And again, there are issues here that I will fix, for example, with the number of decimal digits that we have for different variables. I should just that's something that I noticed yesterday, and I will fix it soon, so that we can, depending now for every variable we have 3 decimal digits, but of course we can basically change it to be dynamically depending on what we have in our database. And yeah, so that's here. And we can also have the pagination here, where we can basically go through different pages. And yeah, and another thing is, of course, that we can also have download everything from the database more or less in the same format, or in any format that we might want to, might be interested in. So if we basically click on download all, we will have the CSV version of this particular, and because it's a big database, it's a big table, it takes a bit longer. But yeah, if you bear with me for 2 more seconds, hopefully it will be done, and we can see how it will be taken care of. So I think in the meantime, while it's downloading, we can probably also go to see how we can, for example, update one particular let's say fact, where we can basically update everything, and we can either delete it or update anything that we want. And yeah, let me see if that has been downloaded already. So oh yeah, I think this is disease events. I don't know why my time is not working properly, but basically we will have let's say this, something like this here, where we can have the same data that we have there in CSV format. And of course all these information can be tweaked, and we can decide whether we want to add some more columns here, or whether we are happy with these columns. It can also be dynamically decided. So that's the thing with references. And the updating, as we said, we discussed, we can say that, oh yeah, we want to delete this thing, and all sorts of things, and that's kind of fun. And yeah, I think the next, so I can also show you that, like, now I'm logged in as Majid, but we can also basically see that we can log in as other users. We can log out and we can log in again, and that's also working properly. But still, like, it needs some more attention when I want to put it online, so that everybody can create accounts. And yeah, that's another thing. And I think the next step would be for me to just go and take care of the first 100 cases in the same way, but I would say with the fundamentals and the infrastructure that I have built now, things would be much faster. So I believe that by the end of this week, I should be able to also add the first 100 cases to the database. And I would appreciate it if you have any questions or any comments. And of course, there are a lot of things to be added, but as I discussed, that's basically the skeleton of what we wanted to build. And now everything is working, and that's kind of cool. Okay, so I will send you this video, and I will appreciate your feedback.